10 things that didn't make a difference for my autoimmune disease, ankylosing spondylitis, until I worked on my gut as well. And let me stress, all these things can have good benefits, but in terms of did it actually reduce the pains? Did it bring down disease progression? No, it didn't, until I actually did the bulk of the gut work. Then these other things came in to add their extra health benefits that they definitely do have. So let's get into it. Number one is cold therapy. So this is great and I still do it. However, back in the day, I used to think perhaps all I need to do is some Wim Hof breath work, some Wim Hof cold therapy, go and get in the sea, get in the cold, get in the ice tub or the bath, just a cold bath every day. And although I felt great and maybe got all the other benefits from it, I saw no difference to the AS or the joint pain. Number two, keeping active through the flares or pain or just exercising through it didn't help at all and in fact made it worse. This is more applicable to AS on its own perhaps and very applicable to SIJ inflammation for AS. But for me, just pushing through pain and exercising when it was hurting clearly just made it worse. Number three, the sauna. And this is probably one that I have to be completely firing and no chance of inflammation to be able to do it. So any times I've been on the edge slightly in the past or when I've done more gut work and obviously had more inflammation, I cannot do the sauna. It's just a bad idea. Again, great for many things, but the simple of it, it just feels like it stresses my body out and creates heat within my system that is more likely to push me towards a flare. And also just the stress response that you want from the sauna. It may actually be too much stress on top of already too much internal stress that can tip into an autoimmune flare. Number four, 24-hour plus fasts. So I've done a video on this, on the actual science behind perhaps why these don't work. The main reason being is the damaging effect they seem to have on Paneth cells. Now, this was done in a study on mice and rats, the one I pulled up, but it's still data that we can use. And when we're trying to deal with autoimmune problems, the main thing we could look at perhaps is the Paneth cell in the gut. I got this all from Dave O'Brien. This was his initial hunch as the Paneth cell being the main problem with autoimmune problems and gut problems. We need to fix this. 24-hour plus fasts actually make these worse. They make them function even less well than they already are, meaning more bacterial problems can build up because they're in charge of dealing with the microbiome and keeping things in check. These don't work properly. Bacterial problems can grow. Autoimmune problems can continue. So fasts, long duration fasts, again, amazing for lots of things, but early days autoimmune problems, no, didn't help at all. Number five, tracking every last detail to figure out what might have triggered the flare or the pain. Now, I thought I was being Mr. Clever, Mr. Analytical, and this would solve my problems. I'd get to the bottom of what exactly it was that day that caused the pain the next day. This, although it's a good basis to be, and I'd probably rather be here than someone who just doesn't care at all, the issue is with autoimmune and gut problems and bacterial inflammation kickoffs is you cannot be sure at all what has caused this flare or pain at that time. Food triggers can be multiple days after you've eaten the food, or again, if the bacterial issue exists, it's there no matter what you've eaten or done, and that can kick off the immune system any day. So yes, track things, more so to see is a method or something you've added in working or not on the whole, but a little tiny change. I went for a walk that day, I did some lunges, I ate food at my grandparents' house, I ate this food. It's probably not the cause behind the flare. Maybe a trigger, maybe tipped you over the edge or got you finally to the flare, but it's not the answer. And it just more stress than you need to be taking on and takes your focus away from the important things, which you've heard me say already, is the gut and bacterial issues. Number six, taking ibuprofen and just cracking on. So I remember one of my worst flares ever was when I was super excited to play footy five-a-side on a Monday night with my friends. It was going great, we were doing well the last few weeks, few months, and all of a sudden I felt a build-up of pain on that Monday. And I was thinking, oh no, don't tell me this. I can't play on this, can I? But I just thought, you know what? I really want to play. I've never done this before. Let's just take 800 mils ibuprofen and play and just see what happens, knowing full well exactly what would happen because I'd done this many times before. Played, enjoyed it, was great, didn't feel any pain at all. But then the next day and the next 6 weeks, and I think it was 2 months, I missed the rest of the whole five-a-side season over the winter. Dire pain. Now you could say, was the flare going to come anyway and be painful and long duration? Perhaps it was, but you can almost certainly guess that I have just aggravated the SIJ even more when it's already got inflammation there. And this has just sent my body into a complete panic state of we need to shut everything down. And that's what floored me for weeks. So no case should anyone be doing that. Number 7, sleep hygiene. So great for many things. And yes, it may improve your sleep, but this had no effect on my AS. Didn't even have any effect really on my sleep problem because, again, this was linked to autoimmune, as I'm finding out, and a melatonin issue due to gut problems not being able to produce enough melatonin in the first place. So just by sleep hygiening my way through and trying to improve sleep was not going to change this at all. And yeah, no difference for the joint pain or even the sleep issue. Number 8, taking one random supplement for a few weeks and then stopping when it doesn't fix everything I have wrong with me. So some of these supplements I was taking, yes, actually, when you then do further research and kind of take them properly over extended time and you know what they actually do, you would use them. But just one supplement here and there for a short period probably, again, isn't going to shift the main problems and may not even have any inflammation reduction or pain reduction. Not to say don't try. I want people to try for sure, but again, it's not the fix. Number 9, following general health advice from health influencers. I used Paul Saladino in the thumbnail because I think he's great. I love him and support everything that he talks about. But when I was trying to follow his diet of the animal-based diet, again, diet alone is not the answer, I don't think, for the place I was in. But also the diet of it works brilliant if you live in Costa Rica like Paul Saladino, or again, you don't have extensive gut problems that I have or someone with autoimmune disease has. All that fruit and even the certain starches that he mentions, for someone with autoimmune and gut problems, you are not going to be able to digest or absorb this fructose and starches very well, and this will cause more issues. So you may have got your general diet into a better place, but it's not going to have any help on the pains or the autoimmune disease. So some of these influencers and everyone who talks about whatever they talk about, it may be great for general health advice, but for dealing with a specific problem, which they don't mention at all, that, by the way, this fixes every problem ever, it's probably not the answer, and you perhaps need to do more specific work or understand specifically what's wrong with you, and are you actually able to deal with the foods like this person can, and is it actually tackling the problem that you need to tackle? Finally, number 10, getting in the sun and grounding, just getting connected to the earth. I don't really need to say much more about this because you can imagine this isn't going to change much. Is it good and beneficial, and the negative ions or electrons that get passed through the earth into you? Yes, it looks pretty good. And obviously getting in the sun, one of my favorite things to do anyway, didn't have any effect on the pains that I was suffering with. Put a smile on my face, gave me a bit of a tan, which is very beneficial for many reasons, but no shift on the pains. I'll be sat on the sunbed or sat on the beach or lying on the beach in dire pain. So yeah, not the answer. There you go, there's all 10. So I've explained why perhaps they didn't work, but again, the ultimate factor is they didn't work because I was never going to shift, for me, the high alcohol producing bacterial issues I had, the small intestinal bacterial growth issues I had, damage to my intestinal stem cells and Paneth cells I clearly had, acetaldehyde yeast formations I had as well, clear negative gram-bacterial overgrowth. This is not going to be fixed by any of these above. Now, when I start to get on top of these issues through more intense work with diet and specifically with a bit of an intense gut protocol or supplementation protocol that can actually induce changes here and maintain these beneficial changes, Then you can bring in the sunlight, you can bring in the cold therapy, you can bring in the breath work, which I didn't even mention. The sleep hygiene might actually then improve sleep, and you'll see the benefits of the winding down at night and the red light glasses because you've actually got more melatonin being produced in the gut. These all come to play to actually make a difference now because you've done the main chunk of what you need to do. So don't be disheartened. Don't just not do any of these things because I've said this, or perhaps because you've realized they don't work. I'm just saying I don't want you to get your hopes up to think that this one thing is going to solve multi-layered bacterial issues and real damage to your gut and any other issues you might have that are just proven to not be fixed with these things. So please do do the things that you enjoy and that work for you, but really take it serious and ask the question, is this moving the needle in the place where I need to move it?